Sports Bash pre-show presented by Del Fuego Tex-Mex Kitchen and Tequila. They are Long Island's premier Tex-Mex destination. Their multi-award-winning handcrafted dishes can be ordered and dined in 4 locations, all in Suffolk County. Good morning, everyone. I'm Peter Schwartz. He's Vinny Tickets. Number to call, 631-451-1039. Later in the day, it is Stump the Whiz, and we'll also have This Day in Sports History. Good morning, Vinny.
That is an exciting day coming up. Good morning, Peter.
Good morning. And a collective sigh of relief from Yankee fans. We'll tell you about that right now as it's time for the Sports Bash Flash, brought to you by the Embassy Diner in Bethpage, where every customer is considered family. The Embassy Diner is located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage. Mention Sports Bash and get a free dessert with your meal. In the Bronx last night, Yankees take Game 1 of their AL East first-place showdown with the Orioles beating Baltimore 4-2. The big story, though, was in the third inning. Aaron Judge hit on the left hand by an Albert Suarez pitch. Then he left the game in the fourth inning. He was taken to a hospital, and thankfully, X-rays and a CT scan were negative.
Big relief, just being hit there before a couple years ago and breaking the wrist. You never know what's going to happen. So, finding out that it's not fractured, not broken is definitely a sign of relief.
And coming up on Sports Bash, we are expected to chat with Dr. James Pacey from Orland & Cohen to talk about the injury and what could lie ahead for Aaron Judge coming up in just a few moments. Yankees and Orioles again tonight at Yankee Stadium as Garrett Cole makes his season debut. In Arlington, the Mets were down 6-2, but they rallied. They were tied with the Rangers at 6 in the ninth inning.
He cracks one on the ground, diving attempt by Duran, but it's Payam down the left field line. Nimmo scores. Martinez to third. Pete Alonso gives the Mets the lead. He yanks one down the third base line, doubles in a run. 7-6 Mets in the ninth.
That was Keith Radd on WCBS 880. Mets win their 7th in a row, beat the Rangers 7-6. They'll take on the Rangers again tonight. Vinny, we had some sad news from baseball yesterday. Hall of Famer Willie Mays passed away at the age of 93. The Say Hey Kid, a 24-time All-Star, 2 National League MVP awards, and he picked up 12 Gold Gloves. And just sad, a New York baseball icon. Obviously went out to San Francisco when the Giants moved out there, came back and closed his career with the Mets for a short time in 1973. But obviously sad news from all of baseball yesterday.
Yes, very sad news. And I will say this, and don't hate on me for saying this, but you make it to 94 years old, and you really have to look at that and say, wow, that's a life well lived, and especially the storied career and the gentle person that he was. I think, yes, everyone's mourning right now, but 94 is a good number. I'd sign up tomorrow.
100%. Stanley Cup Final, Oilers force a Game 6, beat the Panthers 5-3 in Game 5. Game 6 will be Friday night in Edmonton. The Panthers still lead 3-2. WNBA, Liberty lost to Phoenix 99-93. And last night, I went with my son Bradley. Last minute thing, wound up with a little extra time. Just me and Bradley went to the Ducks game last night, and they played Staten Island. They did lose the game 8-6, but I have to thank the Ducks. Now, I listen, being completely transparent, I do work for the Ducks part-time. I do some PA announcing, but at the last second, check out, for the people watching on YouTube and Facebook, check out these seats that Bradley and I had last night. 5 rows back, just to the right of home plate. And I don't care what level of baseball you're watching. You could be watching Major League Baseball, Minor League Baseball, MLB partner baseball. When you sit at a baseball game that close, 5 rows behind, that is I don't mean to rub it in for people who don't have access to those tickets, but I do like to pound my chest sometimes when you get seats like that. I know you've had that experience before too.
Once or twice. So. So I think it is twice.
Yeah. Well,
yes. So I will say this, and the great part about seeing the game from there behind is the vantage point.
Yes.
When you're in the outfield, a lot of times you get those balls and strike calls, or it's hard to judge, is the ball going to be fair? Is it going to be foul? But when you're in that seat, you have the greatest vantage point to look at balls and strikes intelligently and to look at the lines, what's fair and foul.
It's awesome to hear the ball pop into the catcher's glove and to hear the crack of the bat. So in a few seconds, we'll be welcoming in our radio audience. We do expect to talk to Dr. James Pacey from Orland & Cohen about Aaron Judge. Sports Bash is coming up in just a matter of moments.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station, JVC Broadcasting Management, or its sponsors.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Sports Bash presented by TicketBash.com. Sports Bash is brought to you by the Embassy Diner in Bethpage, by Falcone Law Firm. If you need to speak to an attorney, call them at 631-6074-LAW. That's 631-607-4529. By the Marty Lyons Foundation, the official charity of Sports Bash Media. Visit their website at martylyonsfoundation.org. And by Collaborate Studios, a content marketing production facility. For more info, call them at 516-509-8277. Good morning again, everyone. I'm Peter Schwartz, joined by this man to my right, Vinny Tickets. 631-451-1039 is the number to call to join the show. Later on, it is the moment of the show we look forward to all week. It is Stump the Whiz, and Vegas does not have the odds in Whiz Kid's favor today because I've seen the question, I've selected the question, and I'm willing to say that this is going to be maybe perhaps the toughest question that he has been served here on the show.
Well, I guess it's kind of like hitting against Randy Johnson today. So
yeah, absolutely.
Good
so
luck.
I hope he's got his, the fluids in the brain, the fluids in the brain. Fluids aren't running in my brain this morning after seeing Aaron Judge get hit on the hand last night. But we'll have Stump the Whiz coming up in just a couple of moments later on in the show, and this day in sports history. And while the Mets have been getting a lot of our attention the last week with 7 straight wins, including last night, the big story in sports, obviously also the sad news about Willie Mays passing away. So if you have any memories of the Say Hey Kid, we would love to hear from you at 631-451-1039. But obviously, locally, the big story last night at Yankee Stadium, the Yankees do beat the Orioles 4-2, but a big scare in the third inning when Aaron Judge is hit on the hand and had to get taken to the hospital. But luckily, the CT scans and the X-rays were all negative. So that is a sigh of relief. I would imagine you probably won't see Judge in the lineup tonight. Maybe the swelling's got to go down a little bit. But when you first see that, Vinny, you think that, and you hear, because you never really hear, oh, they're taking him to the hospital. Usually it's, oh, we'll have an MRI the next day. They took him right to the hospital to get the test. And I was at the Ducks game with my son Bradley. I'm like, he's got a broken hand. They're not taking him to the hospital because of anything else. But luckily that it's not that.
Yeah, everything came back negative. And I will say this, as I was watching it, I'm sure all Yankee fans collectively, we had a gasp. And, it was scary. And then the other scary part of that was when Judge afterwards, I almost felt like he was thinking about going to the mound. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Have you seen the highlights?
Yeah, he started.
I know you were away.
No, I know. I saw it on my phone.
Right,
at
so
the
he
Ducks
took a
game.
few steps towards the pitcher's mound, and I said to myself, talk about scary. The pitcher's got to be saying, I have this guy, 6'10", 350 pounds, whatever his numbers are, but...
Right.
Creeping towards the mound, I said, that's not good.
And also in the game, although he never came out, I think he came out later on in the game, but I think it was just for defensive reasons. But Gleyber Torres got hit as well last night. And I started to think about, the early 2000s when the Yankees and Red Sox had, obviously it's always a rivalry, but they were, meeting in the playoffs every now and then. It seemed like every year sometimes. And remember when Pedro Martinez would just keep plunking Yankee batters? He would plunk Derek Jeter, he'd plunk Soriano, Burn, all the, and the Yankees would never retaliate, unless Clemens would do it sometimes. But Mike Messina, granted a Hall of Famer and a great pitcher for the Yankees, but Mike Messina would never retaliate. I mean, and it would just annoy me to no end. Yeah. Other Yankee fans and even the media started to question what. In this case, now, it's not going to happen tonight because Garrett Cole is coming off the injured list tonight, and he's going to make his season debut. So I would doubt, if it was a normal situation, I would have all the confidence in the world that Garrett Cole would go out and plunk, Gunnar Henderson or Adley Rutschman tonight. I don't think it's going to happen tonight. If anything happens, I think it's tomorrow. But I do think now, in the heat of a pennant race that is evolving, I do think the Yankees have to retaliate and send a message back to the Orioles that you're not going to hit our best players.
Yeah, 100%. And it looked like the pitch got away from him, but you can't come high and tight and then come... he came high and tight on the pitch before or 2 pitches before, and then he did it again. And yeah, absolutely. It is an unknown or unspoken rule of the game. And there's definitely, has to be, we have to check the Orioles or the Yankees.
Yeah.
The Yankees need to check the Orioles. That's part of the game. It's a 1-for-1. You hit our star, we hit your star. So I agree with you, Peter. I think we have to make a statement and let them know that, if you're going to start coming high and tight and hitting our guys, well, you know what? Everything else is off the table. You're fair game.
And the umpires have to give the Yankees a shot. They do, because that now that I say that, it reminds you of the confrontation that former Mets manager Terry Collins had. Remember that the sound was leaked when Noah Syndergaard threw, I think it was at Chase Utley, back a few years ago, and they had that expletive-laden thing. And Terry Collins was right. How did the Mets not get their shot to retaliate? So that's why I don't think it'll be tonight. I think it'll be tomorrow. But the Yankees do need to, stand some ground here, because this is going to be a pennant race that's probably going to go on all season long. I don't think this is something that either team would run away with. But the Yankees do have to stand their ground here, and I think they have to retaliate.
Yeah. So here's a question, though. A lot of times when this starts, the umpires will, prior to the game, warn both managers. In other words, this is your warning. I'm just wondering if tonight they give the warning, right? Hey, guys, you're not throwing at each other tonight. The first time it happens, you're out of the game. Maybe it works out good, because we don't expect Cole to do that tonight, but maybe they give the warning today. Tomorrow we come back. And tomorrow afternoon, I think it's an afternoon game tomorrow, 4 o'clock, which is an interesting time.
Yankees announced they're starting an opener.
Right.
On
a Thursday. Yeah.
Bring somebody up from Scranton Wilkes-Barre. Oh, he'll pitch the first inning. He's going to take care of business, and then he'll get out of the game.
Did you figure out the Ben Rice parody yet, or?
It was Ben, Uncle Ben's Rice.
I don't know. We haven't figured it out yet.
I think that's what it is. By the way, congratulations to Ben Rice. He got his first major league hit
that was exciting.
last night. His family was there.
Wow.
That's always. I love seeing those moments where the family is there for the first game, and he gets a hit, and that's just awesome. It
was a shot. He's got a sweet left-hand swing.
Absolutely, and again, just like Austin Wells is a catcher that can play first base if they need to. Same thing with Ben Rice. He came up really as a catcher, and he's still kind of transitioning into first base. So, and you saw him come out of the game for defense at the end of the game, which was not a surprise.
And then LeMahieu made a great play.
He did, but it's bothering me that he's not hitting right now. So that's a problem too. But back to the Mets now too. Also, the Yankees had their night last night, and the Mets just keep on trucking. That grimace really brought some fantastic luck to the Mets. 7 straight wins. They come back from 6-2 down. Alonso, as we heard on the update on the pre-show, gets the big double in the 9th inning, and the Mets just keep on winning.
They're hot.
I mean, it's unbelievable, and that makes for a very, very happy Schwartz household. I'm the only Yankee fan in the house, so my wife and my kids are all Met fans. So it has been actually very nice, week or so, because there's been no baseball sadness whatsoever in the Schwartz household.
That's a great thing. Yes, 7 in a row. Who would have thought?
This comes from a Yankee fan's perspective, because both me and Vinny are Yankee fans. So sometimes these things can get a little tacky, but I love this grimace stuff. I think this is so much fun, and I think anybody who questions the grimace that the Mets are embracing it, Met fans are embracing it, like if you have a problem with this, I think you need to have your head examined, because this is sometimes baseball can lag a little bit. Sometimes sports in general can be a little boring. Sometimes you need things to spice things up a little bit. And while I am old-fashioned in a lot of ways when it comes to sports, I love this stuff. Yeah. I love the grimace.
Yeah, the grimace is very cool. And remember, the reason people watch sports is it provides them with an escape. It provides them with some levity, and it provides them with some entertainment. So everyone that's watching this, there's nothing to get agitated or controversial about. It's entertainment, and the grimace is part of that entertainment, right?
Absolutely, no question about it. So All good stuff for the Mets and the Yankees. Sigh of relief about Aaron Judge. We can talk about it at 631-451-1039. We've got the sad news about Willie Mays passing away. The Stanley Cup Final is still going. I thought this was going to end last night, but the Oilers have come back now with 2 straight wins, and they are sending the series back to Edmonton for a Game 6. So now you're in that it was 3-0 Florida. Now it's 3-2 with Edmonton on home ice for Game 6, and you've got very much a series here after it certainly looked like it was going to be a clean sweep for the Florida Panthers, but obviously business has not been taken care of. We are going to take care of more business when we come back. It's This Day in Sports History, and it's Stump the Whiz. It's all coming up, but if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, stay with us during the break. We'll have some more. We'll have some words from our friends at the Embassy Diner and some more content, and plus we're coming back. Stump the Whiz coming up in just a matter of moments. Peter Schwartz, Vinny Tickets, coming back with Sports Bash presented by TicketBash.com. Hi, I'm Peter Schwartz.
And I'm Vinny Tickets.
We want to take a moment to talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Embassy Diner.
Embassy Diner has been a beloved staple in the restaurant industry for over 50 years. And the great thing about it is when you walk through the door, you're not a customer, you are family. Every visit promises to be filled with warmth, love, and respect.
And here's an extra treat. If you mention Sports Bash during your visit, you enjoy a free dessert on the Embassy Diner.
Come on down to the Embassy Diner, where great food and great company are always on the menu.
Visit the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Terminal. It's Peter Schwartz, Vinny Tickets, back with you during our radio commercial break. We are presented by TicketBash.com, and we've been talking about the Yankees and the Mets with 2 more big wins last night, and also the passing of Willie Mays. I only got to see Willie play. My dad took me to a couple of Met games in '73. I saw Willie play at the end of his career. So I don't really have much of a memory of seeing him in his, no pun intended, heyday. But obviously when you grow up in New York as a baseball fan like you and I did, you learn about him, you understand what he meant to baseball here in the New York area.
Yeah, at the time, center field was a very special place in the city of New York. And Say Hey was, he'll be missed. And, storied career. And another very important thing that we don't talk about a lot, but good person as well.
Absolutely. A beloved figure, and our condolences go out to the Willie Mays family, the Giants organization, and also the Mets. His number is retired at Citi Field as well. We're coming back with Sports Bash presented by TicketBash.com right now. Welcome back to Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com. Peter Schwartz, Vinny Tickets, 631-451-1039, the number to call. Coming up, it's Stump the Whiz. But first, we bring in Whiz for This Day in Sports History.
Thank you so much, Peter. And on this day in 1943, it was a result of World War II, and there was a big player shortage in the NFL. So the league had to make some adjustments. There were 10 teams at the time, including a team that's no longer around in the Brooklyn Dodgers. Yes, there was a Brooklyn Dodgers NFL team. And the Cleveland Rams, as they were called at the time, suspended operations for a year. But most notably, the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Philadelphia Eagles merged into one team that was known as the Phil Pitt Club, but better known as the Steagles. And they wore the Eagles uniforms, and the head coach of both teams, Walt Kiesling and Greasy Neal, who absolutely detested each other, were forced to be the co-head coaches, with Neal being the offensive coordinator and Kiesling being the defensive coordinator. And the funny thing, too, is that there was a lot of problems, but for some reason it ended up working out more so than not. It was also the Eagles' first ever winning season and the Steelers' second ever winning season. At this time, the Eagles and Steelers were in the same division, so it was like the Flyers and the Penguins in the NHL. And so the following year, the Rams came back, and the Eagles would detach themselves of the Steelers, but then the following year, they would become known as Card Pit because the Chicago Cardinals merged with the Steelers. And funny enough, Card Pit sounds a lot like carpet, which makes a lot of sense because they went 0-10 that season. So they were everyone's carpet that they would wipe their feet on. So yeah, how's that for
Good tie-in, Whiz.
Awesome job.
It gets better by the minute.
Thanks.
And now it is time for the most anticipated segment of the week here on Sports Bash, presented by Ticketbash.com. It is time to stump the Whiz. And we will do this for a fantastic prize. Do we have tickets to give away for the winner? If
yeah, sure.
Mets tickets?
Sure, we'll give
Mets.
them 2 Met tickets.
We'll figure out a Mets game because that didn't come up in the pre-show meeting, but I'm figuring I would ask that now. So
Yeah.
if our contestant today is able to stump the Whiz, we'll get you 2 tickets to a Mets game. The Mets are red hot. We've won 7 games in a row. So here is what we are going to do. We're going to play Stump the Whiz, and the question is brought to us, and I'm trying to find where I had it on my, oh, here it is. I've got it right here. Peter needs to wake up a little bit here
that's
because I
okay.
can't read my own script.
Another cup of coffee.
I need something from Dunkin' Donuts. Sponsor mention. The baseball world is mourning the loss of Hall of Famer Willie Mays, who wore 24 for the Giants as well as the Mets. So, 2 minutes on the clock. Sebastiano, right on top of things. Franklin Schweitzer from Levittown would like to know, Whiz Kid Vinny, who was the first player in Mets history to wear number 24? 2 minutes on the clock, and away we go.
Well, they can't wear that now, that's for sure. And I will say, when it comes to Willie Mays, while I'm thinking about this, he is not just a New York icon, he is a baseball icon. And not just a baseball icon, he is an American icon. He's an American institution, and I think
he knows the answer because he wouldn't be going on this.
Yeah, you got to
on this,
stick to the task at hand here.
Well,
you could have
I'm trying to
set a record. If you know the answer, you could have set the record within the first 30 seconds.
I'm trying to think of it. Well, I think it would have to be in 1962 probably because that was their first season, of course, in the majors, and it wasn't that great.
Once again, we are looking for the first player in Mets history to wear number 24, the number that was worn by Willie Mays, who passed away yesterday at the age of 93. So I will say that Whiz is correct. It was a member of the 1962 original Mets team.
And just like the beginning of a baseball season, he's 2 for 5.
I think it was a pitcher. I think it was a pitcher. I remember seeing this on Baseball Reference. 1962 pitcher, wasn't that good.
There weren't too many Mets on that season.
480 something, 489, 490 ERA.
Oh my God.
Bob Miller. Bob Miller.
You are
1962.
correct.
Whoa!
Can't believe it.
The Whiz!
Bob Miller.
I love this kid.
Bob Miller.
I love this kid.
God,
Bob
I
Miller.
can't believe you got that. Vegas had astronomical odds against this.
Well, you were saying that was Randy Johnson. Well, guess what? I'm multi-time MVP Frank Thomas, Chicago White Sox.
33 seconds left on the clock.
Wow.
My goodness. Bob Miller, 1962 original Mets. He was 1-12 in their inaugural season with an ERA of 4.89. That is unbelievable.
I love this kid.
I am absolutely floored that you got that answer.
Bob Miller, yeah.
And so is Franklin Schweitzer.
I will say to Bob, this is nothing against you. I don't know if you're still alive or if your family's watching, but I will say thank you for having that number for the number 24 for the legendary Willie Mays. In the same way that just another number that's just known for New York sports.
I feel terrible for Franklin Schweitzer because I know that he was confident that you were not going to get that answer when I saw the question. I'm like, there's no way he's going to get it. There's just no way.
Frank, listen, if you're watching this.
Oh, he's watching.
Frank, I want to tell you straight up. I'm at 500, and I want to thank you for that opportunity to get me at that mark. And, you know, don't worry that you can get Mets tickets some other time, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll get you the next time.
Yeah.
While I have a second, I do want to let everybody know we are upgrading our studio here. We're hardwiring, getting all kinds of new computer programs. And I want to give a shout out to my friends over at ETSITsolutions.com. That's ETSITsolutions.com. All your networking, computer programming, all your needs. You could go online, or you could also call that company at 631-780-5467. An amazing company, super reliable, and I'm very confident in their services and their ability to turn this studio around. Not that it's not great already, Sebastiano. We love our guy behind the glass there.
We
the
do have a
best I
couple.
can.
There you go.
You do a great job.
We
You
do
really
have
do.
a couple of minutes. We want to go to the phone lines at 631-451-1039. We wished him a happy birthday a couple of days ago. My best friend and the biggest fraud of a sports fan in the entire world, Rob in Baltimore, has called in to Sports Bash. Hello, Rob.
Hi, Peter. How are you this morning?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. Screw the Orioles, by the way.
Well, you see, you just really instigated something that really
You threw at our best player. So, pardon me for being a little irritable today, but it's not going to be today, but I hope tomorrow somebody plunks Gunnar Henderson in the head.
Oh,
Peter.
Yeah.
Peter.
And that he's okay, but just, send a message.
How about Juan Soto doesn't know how to run the bases?
Come on. Come on. Let's go.
No.
Let's go.
Juan Soto doesn't. And
What did that have to do with Aaron Judge getting plunked on the hand?
Yeah, I don't think that was premeditated, though.
listen. The Yankees are finally playing big boy baseball.
And they won last night. By the way, they did win.
Ball team.
They won.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay. Against a journeyman pitcher.
He's a journeyman pitcher, but if he won the game last night, you'd be sending me messages on Facebook how great it was.
He's a star.
I would say the Orioles beat the Yankees. Now listen,
Yeah.
they're just bitter.
No, and listen, Rob grew up a huge Mets fan on Long Island.
Sorry to hear that.
And he grew up, he shared Jet season tickets with me.
Oh,
Then he moves to Baltimore and he ditches both teams for the Orioles and the Ravens. This is why I love him like a brother, but he is the biggest fraud of a sports fan walking God's green earth.
Listen, somebody's got to do it, but you know what, Peter? I still love you.
And the feeling is mutual, but you are a fraud. Thanks for calling.
Give my daughter a hug and a kiss.
Absolutely. Have a good one. Thanks to Rob for calling. We had a great show. We had Stump the Whiz. Whiz did a great job for our entire crew. I'm Peter Schwartz. By the way, a reminder, Monday, June 24th, this Monday, 11:30, our special show from the St. Jude Big Daddy Celebrity Golf Classic in Huntington. So we're going to have that coming on. We've got a big Thursday show coming up tomorrow. For Vinny Tickets, I'm Peter Schwartz. For our entire crew, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We're back tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock.